Poslati živjeti.
Drago mi je da sam vidio.
Okej, vem ballen med Okej, please. Guten Appetit.
Mogoče kdo tako, dajte se po domače, vsak se vzame sam. Delem.
Hvala.
Ja se še dal on. Udite spodaj? Živamo spodaj, tle.
Ok, da so slednji gor.
Čutim, da zgorijo, da razgledaš. Dovolj mlado, da jaz tudi odstranjujem. Otroci gor. Rekli, da li se ne naslanjati na vrajo. Ja, zdaj gre otroci.
Hvala.
Dear Rinpoche, we are very pleased and happy that all the conditions and circumstances are there. You could come again and teach the precious Dharma to many people from Slovenia and also many people from other countries, near and far, who have gathered here, so we could again form a mandala and hopefully gain some insight into precious texts, maybe even practice a little bit after you've gone, and so keep our merit high enough that you will come again. So we at this moment we would also like to wish that your lotus feet stay firm, so that you will come in many years to come and hopefully continue to teach us even after we will have finished the ornament of liberation. And we also want to thank you for a beautiful empowerment and fit instructions that you gave along this empowerment, so we could actually also feel a little bit about what the real meaning of this ceremony is, and hopefully hold this in our heart and practice with that awareness and with that feeling. So without any further ado, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Ščuka,
So, first of all, I would like to welcome everybody who could spend this weekend with us. And I would like to express my happiness and my gratefulness for inviting me here again. And it's a beautiful country, beautiful people, and very happy to see all of you again here. And as you know, we have been going through, you are translating simultaneously? Okay. As you know, we have been going through the Pass, the Ornament of Liberation. This book, as you know, is regarded as very important. Gampopa, when he passed away, he said that those of you who feel in the future who have not met me, who might feel that I haven't met Gampopa, and you will, if you feel sorry or sad that you couldn't see me, then he says you don't have to be sad, you don't have to feel bad, because I've left this book, and if you read it, it is exactly the same as meeting with me. So therefore, it's very, it has all the instructions on how to practice Dharma, and actually the relationship between the teacher and student is that, getting the instructions, learning how to practice, the teaching, the Dharma, is the only relationship between the teacher and student. So therefore, his teachings are same like meeting. We have been going through this book not so thoroughly because of time, and also because I am lazy. And now we have gone through, we were going through the 6 paramitas, and we have gone through first 4 paramitas, paramita of giving, paramita of conduct, paramita of patience, and paramita of diligence. And now we come to the 5th paramita, which is the paramita of meditation. So actually this is a little bit longer text, and also I think very important. And so as all different chapters this is also presented in, I think this same way. First, reflecting on the fault and virtue, then definition, classification, characteristic of each classification, then how to increase perfection and the result, the seven kind of points. So first, what is the benefit of doing meditation, and what is the problem or fault of not doing meditation? So here it says, even if you practiced other paramitas like giving or generosity and conduct, positive living and patience and diligence, but if one did not do the meditation, then because your mind is distracted, your mind is not in control, your mind is not tamed. So therefore, you will be easily under the control or under the influence of negative emotions. So therefore, you would not really, you would not really be able to find, liberation. You will not be able to free yourself from sufferings because your mind will be under the influence or control of negative emotions. As you know, it is very clear, and Buddha said it also, that all of our sufferings actually originate or is caused by our negative emotions and the karma, which is becoming addicted to that. That's one. Second, if we do not do the meditation, then our mind will not be clear. And because our mind will not be clear, therefore we cannot clearly see, even if we want to help somebody, even if we want to work for the benefit of people, because our mind is not clear, so we would not know exactly what is the best way to help them. So even in order to help other beings, it's very important that we have to have very clear mind and mind under our control. So therefore, we need to meditate. And especially, it is said that if you really meditate well, then it will not only make our mind a little bit clear, but it can also bring clairvoyance, that we could actually see into somebody's mind. And if that happens, then it would be excellent to have. It would be so helpful to try to help other people because we know exactly what they need. So therefore, it is very important. And thirdly, if our mind is scattered and not, stable, then it is very difficult to really experience the true nature of things. So therefore, it is very difficult to have wisdom. To generate wisdom or to have experience of wisdom, not just intellectually but experientially, first you have to have your mind very calm and clear and stable. And so therefore, in order to experience wisdom, you need to have meditation. And that's why it is said by Santideva that Platon or the Vipassana, which is based on a very strong samatha, can completely transform all the negative emotions. So therefore, that can be the cause of our liberation from the samsaric state of being. So therefore, it is very important to meditate. So that's the reflection on the faults and virtues of meditation. Now, the definition of meditation. What is meditation? The definition of meditation is said here, Sinitra Sen Monk gave up a teaching in Nepal. The mind abides one-pointedly in a positive way. That's the definition of meditation. That your mind can remain one-pointedly without struggle, without disturbance. So therefore, it is abiding on, resting on a positive state. And that is meditation. Mind is on positive means that there is nothing negative, there is nothing disturbing, there is nothing, kind of making any kind of troubles. And then one part of it is remaining there. That's meditation. Now, so how do we how do we get that? How do we get that? How do we find that kind of one-pointed, on a positive way, undisturbed? First, it is the undistracted. The mind has to be undistracted. Because if it has to be one-pointed, then it has to be undistracted. So, how do we make undistracted? Now, here, in order to become distracted, undistracted, first we have to try to, we usually say like this, we create solitude, solitude of the body, solitude of the speech, and solitude of the mind. Now, solitude of the body is solitude is something that there is no disturbances, no causes of disturbances. The disturbances could be, that your mind is too much attached to something. If your mind is too much attached to something, then it can cause disturbance. Well, first let us talk about this tree, solitude. Any solitude is, as I said, solitude of the body, solitude of the speech, solitude of the mind. And solitude of the body is try to create a situation where you don't have that much distractions. And solitude of the speech, distractions to your body. Sometimes when to meditate, people go to the solitude place, like in the countryside, like the place where we went yesterday. Maybe that's why you bought that place. It is said that there are so many things written in praise of solitude by great meditators and great beings, how how wonderful solitude is. How less disturbance there is, how less causes of distraction there is, how much less you find, distraction of too much busyness, too much competition, too much attachment, too much, all kind of distractions is not there. And on top of that, nowadays there's even new concept of what? Taking, what is it called? Tree bagging, forest bagging.
Tree hugging.
Tree?
Tree hugging.
Hugging, not hugging, no. Forest bagging or something like that. You heard about this? Not yet? You will hear a lot. They said that if somebody remains 1 hour, is it 1 hour? At least 1 hour or something like that in the forest, then you get certain, the forest, the trees have certain energy, and then you kind of, you absorb that in your body. So therefore, something very good things happen. They said that now in Japan, lots of people do this kind of. I forget the type, exact name, but something like forest traffic or something like that. It actually helps to, what can you say, the cells are being cleansed. Cells become cleansed by this or something like that. So therefore, not only your body, but your mind and everything becomes very, something they found very kind of, what can you say, very healing. It's not, that concept maybe not totally new, because I was in Germany recently, and there was a tree. Now I forget the name of the tree. But they said that this tree is usually planted in the middle of the courtyard, or middle of the village, and people usually meet around this tree because it brings unity and harmony to the people. That is kind of the traditional belief. And that kind of thing is also there in India, like Buddha, for instance, everything important in his life happened under trees. He was born under a tree. He was enlightened under Bodhi tree, and he also passed away under a tree. But anyway, so solitude. But the main thing, and the solitude of the speech is, when we become a little bit silent, not talking all the time, and not only not talking to other people all the time, but not only talking to yourself all the time also. That's the speech, You don't need to talk to somebody, you can also just talk by yourself. Then your mind becomes calmer. And of course, then solitude of the mind, which is more important. Because even if you are in the forest, if your mind is totally busy, then it doesn't make too much difference. So, and this, the solitude of the mind is disturbed. You know, if it's not solitude, is that if your mind is too much engaged, other, you know, too much attachment, too much agitated, you know, or if you are too much kind of wanting something, running after something, running away something, aversion, attachment, all these things, you know. So those kind of, if you can a little bit let go of those, or too much in the past, or too much in the future, you know. Our mind is always thinking about all the things in the past, and most of the time also, not just thinking about things in the past, but always thinking bad things happened to me in the past. You know, somebody did that, somebody said that. What a hard time I had. You know, all these people and things like that. And also thinking about, you know, what could happen in the future, all these worries, you know, what could go wrong, how bad things would become, and then too much worrying about everything, which both of them are in fact not really that much useful, because what has happened in the past is already happened. And you cannot make it, you know, unhappen. And the more you think about those things, especially bad things, the more it disturbs your mind. But it doesn't really help. And also, too much worry about the future. It is not to say that you cannot at all think about the past and the future. You should actually think a little bit about the past and learn from that. But it doesn't seem like we learn from the past, you know. The history repeats itself all the time. I feel that we human beings never learn anything from the past. I hope I'm wrong. And we should learn, you know, we should really learn. And the future, we can think all kinds of things, you know, we can speculate all kinds of things, and completely, you know, become anxious and worried and things like that. But worries, however much we worry, that doesn't make things better in the future. Nobody who has some kind of intelligence would say that, you know, oh, this negative thing didn't happen because I worried enough. You know, I worried enough, so think that luckily because I worried enough, so this thing didn't happen. You know, it never happens like that. You know, so therefore, most of the time, we actually cannot or would not sometimes face or do or able to do things that would be helpful for the future because we worry too much, or we are too much anxious about that, or we, you know, we have we are so much afraid of what might happen, and therefore we don't do things that we sometimes should be doing. So therefore, understanding this, we allow our mind to relax. And if we can relax, not too much attached to things, not too much worried about things, not too much holding on to things happened in the past, then we can have a little bit of peace of mind. Of course, anything can happen. Anything can happen in our life. Good things can happen, bad things can happen. And there is nothing called security, completely. But there's it doesn't really help to worry too much. That's why we need to learn that, okay, if I have to face something, I have to face it anyway. So when it comes, the time to face it, there's no choice. I will have to face it. So why worry now? So the more relaxed you are now, the more positive you are now, the more relaxed you are now, more kind of joyful you are now, that could actually help to make the future better. Because future is the direct product of the present. Future is the continuation of the present. So these moments of the way I am, the way I react, the way I experience, whether it's positive or negative, creates the next moment and creates the next moment. So therefore, future is actually, if you want to take care of the future, you take care of the present. So therefore, that way, try to create this kind of situation for meditation, because this is, the attitude is very important, understanding is very important. If we have that clearly understanding, and if we can, kind of prepare that state of mind and that state of being, then it becomes much easier to meditate. That becomes meditation actually. Meditation is in a way nothing separate from just being in that state of not totally distracted and remaining in a aware but relaxed state. That's meditation. And if we can relax in any experience, that's meditation. It doesn't have to be peaceful. If a good thought comes and you are relaxed in that, you are meditating. If a bad thought comes and you are relaxing in that, then that's meditation. It doesn't need to be all good thoughts. It doesn't need to be all peaceful. It doesn't need to be all, because feeling good, feeling peaceful, feeling joyful, these are experiences. And sometimes we make the mistake when we meditate saying, I need to feel peaceful, peaceful, not peaceful, no meditation. I can't meditate, I can't meditate because I'm not peaceful. That's not right. That's not right. If there is peace or there is no peace, doesn't matter. A thought comes, no thought comes, doesn't matter. Emotion comes or no emotion comes, doesn't matter. Whatever comes, you relax in that, then that's meditation. Because if you can do that, whatever comes does not disturb you. It comes and goes, It flows. Like for instance, if you sit here, and then relax, and then say, I have to be peaceful. Nobody should make it. Nobody should disturb me. And then, somebody is saying something, somebody is walking, somebody is making noise, a car is going. I can't meditate. Why all this? I have to have double glazing, triple glazing. Nobody is allowed in the house. Okay, but still your mind is there. So that then meditation doesn't happen. But you can stay, and then if car comes, doesn't matter. People walk, doesn't matter. Some people make some noise, doesn't matter. That itself becomes the meditation. Then you learned how to meditate, and then nothing can disturb you. We have to make it so that nothing can disturb us, because it's impossible to create a situation where there is nothing to disturb you. Actually, even the forest, there are lots of disturbance. In my retreat place in Sikkim, some people came and was really disturbed because the birds were making too much noise. There are some birds who make sound all the night, So therefore, it's like that. Anyway, so now there are I will not talk too much about the solitude of places, isolation the mind from discursive thoughts. Now here, that the main distraction is our negative emotions, what we call, attachment, hatred or aversion, ignorance, envy, and arrogance. Now, how to work on them? For attachment, usually we are attached basically to ourselves, our body, a lot. Once there was a big congregation in Hong Kong, and somebody asked him, how many of you are afraid of getting fat? And almost 80%. And so therefore, we are all attached to our body. And we are attached to our loved ones. We are also attached to wealth, to our name, fame, popularity, to our pleasure, also to our, all kind of things. So there, if we can, we need to little bit understand the impermanent nature of things. The more we see clearly the impermanent nature of everything, then we know that we have to live life in a loving way. We have to be nice and loving and kind to each other. We have to also take care of our body and live as well as possible, as in a positive way. But it is clear that sooner than later, we don't know when, we will be, everything will change also. I can be today here, and maybe tomorrow I'm not here. Maybe I'm dead. Anybody can die anytime. And anything can be lost anytime. Anybody we can lose anytime. And everything is momentary. And this is a fact. So therefore, when we understand this, then, it will help us live happily and lovingly together when we are together. But as the time comes, then we can also kind of go without too much clinging, too much attachment, too much pain. And that's very important, to understand this. And if we are prepared for that, then our mind is not so much worried and a little bit, relaxed, prepared. This is very important. Here, they talk about looking for attachment to our body. The what we call midupa. Looking at the dead bodies, skeletons, and then reflect that my body can become like that any time, and through that, we understand the impermanence, and then become less attached. That's one way of working on attachment, because we have so much attachment, lots of attachment. Sometimes we have not only attachment to good things, we have attachment to bad things also. Yeah? And even sometimes bad things, negative things, painful things happen. We get so much attached to it, we get so much identified with that, we can't let it go. So, this is also something very important, that even if we went through some difficult situations, some painful situations, and everything is impermanent. So, it's gone. So what is gone, we have to learn to let it go. And if we can let it go deeply from our heart, then it goes. And then that doesn't haunt us. That doesn't bring, pain to us. That doesn't disturb our mind. If we can't, then we are attached to that negative thing. We hold on to that. So all this should become a practice. Practice to see clearly and, and be very loving, very kind, live very happily, joyfully, spend time together with our loved ones, and be nice and kind to each other. Many times what we do is, when we are together, we always fight. And then when we depart, then we feel so sad. I know one person, she hated her father. She hated her father so much that she was always talking about that. And with so much hatred, so much, and then one day he died. And I was shocked how sad she was. She was so not only sad, she was so much, I don't know, attached to that, and so much, suffered so much that, I thought she would be happy because, she was so hated, but like that. So we try to do something about these things, otherwise our mind is too much disturbed and we cannot meditate. And then second is hatred, or anger, hatred, something you do not like. For that, we have to meditate on loving kindness and compassion. That is, we can think about someone whom we love very much and feel how much good, how much positive wish, good wish, how much we like to that person to have happiness and joy and all good things. How much positive feeling or love or how much good wish we have for that person, and try to feel that. And then try to feel that with a little bit others who are not so close to you or not so loving to you. And because they are also same way as this person. They also needs kindness. They also appreciates or wants to be loved. There is nobody in this world who doesn't want to be loved, who doesn't wish the others to be kind, who doesn't wish that all good things that we want, and they don't want all bad things that I want. So it's same as me, same as my most loved one also. So therefore, slowly, if I can kind of extend that same kind of loving kindness to more and more to all the people in the world, and eventually even those people who has done bad things to me and who I have problem with, because they are also like myself. They are same as mine. And they have people whom they love as I love my loved ones. And there are people who love them also as people nearest to me that I love. So, due to some circumstances, they have been not nice to me, or they have done some bad things. But they are also just ordinary people like me. And it's sometimes it is very important to understand this, that usually we can't think about people who are much some people who seems to be much more better than us, somebody kind of object of our kindness, because they have so much, they are so rich, they are so famous, they are so so we don't need to be kind to them. But actually, if you look a little bit closely, so-called people who are much better than us are also like us. You know. In some cases, in some situations, they are maybe a little bit better than us, but generally they are human beings, they are like us. They have same problems that we have. They have same fears that we have. They have same attachment that we have. So they are exactly the same. So therefore, they are just like us. They are nothing different. So in the same way, people who seem to be much worse, you know, some seem to be very bad or did something bad, or, you know, they are also like us. You know, same thing. So therefore, when we understand this deeply, then, you know, we could probably have the same positive wish to all of them. And when that happens, and also, it's a very important thing, is that if I feel hatred, if I feel anger, if I feel ill will to anybody, the worst sufferer is myself. The one who gets the worst result is myself, because if I feel hatred, if I feel anger, if I feel ill will, I'm unhappy. I suffer myself. Because when I'm angry, I cannot be happy. If I hate it, my mind is totally disturbed. If I feel ill will, I have become kind of a poisoned. So therefore, I can't be happy and well, and, you know. So therefore, if I need to be happy, if I need to be, you know, in a good way, if I wish well for myself, I need to let go of these negative feelings. You know? So with this understanding, we should allow all these negative feelings to go. And that's the meditation. You know, meditation is, you know, to allow our mind to be relaxed, and if too much attachment or greed or wanting or desire, we let it go. Because, you know, our mind is very active. You know. It's everything that we desire, we cannot have. Even if we can have, it will not be good. You know. Like if you have a bowl of chocolate, you would not eat everything, no? If I eat all, or if a bowl of tiramisu, big, if I say I would eat everything myself, I would be sick. So therefore, everything that is nice or attractive or wonderful, I can't and I should not have it. So in the same way, you know, if negative feeling like anger, hatred, you know, I need to let it go, because I cannot reply to every one of them. I cannot, what can you say, take revenge, or, you know, if I do, it will be very hard for me, and it will not do any good to me or to anybody. So if I can let these things go, it will go, and then I have peace of mind, and I am the winner. I am the most benefited person out of that. And then ignorance. Now this is, what was the, do we have a little break? Not planned? You want? Break? Yeah, why not? Huh? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You know, you don't understand elderly people. Like us. Short break. Now for the ignorance, then meditation of interdependence. Now interdependence interdependence is we talk about the 12-link dependent origination is also very important meditation, and this is something which was taught by the Buddha, and meditating on this 12-link dependent origination, people became arhats. And there are two ways. One is how the samsaric state of being is generated, and then how that's reversed, and then one becomes free of samsara. I was actually thinking about skipping this part. Because this is a little bit complicated. And it's not so easy to, well, it's a little bit complicated. But important also, you know. But I think, I don't know if I will be able to give you a very useful and practical meditation on this 12-link dependent origination. I can give you a little bit of an understanding of it. But basically, you know, something a little bit simpler may be more useful. that is like the interdependence, which is also here. What is it that I am? What is it that I am? So if you look at me, what we call me, 6 things. Earth element, water, earth, water, fire or heat, wind or air or energy, space, and consciousness. That's what I am. Yeah. Now, major part of my body, like flesh, bones, all this material part of my body is actually made of earth element. Not only after I die, it becomes earth, but even now, all the cells that's dead is going back to earth, and new ones are coming. And if there is no earth, my body cannot be. It's always exchanging. Yeah. Water, all my blood, and all the moisture that is in me. Without that, I am not there, I can't live. Is made of water element. And if there is no moisture, if there is no water around me, in the environment, I cannot survive, because I need to drink, but I need to absorb, and my water is always evaporating. There is no way I can survive. So my body is very much dependent on earth, on water, and also the warmth and the fire. If I don't have warmth, then I cannot survive, because it's a warmth which keeps things going, which keeps things together. And there is no warmth, I would not survive. And there is air, breathing. I breathe. I breathe oxygen, I breathe out. The other one, what is it called? Nitrogen and things like that, and that's processed. And if there is no oxygen, if there is no air, I can't survive. I am part of that. Yeah. And then I have lots of space in me. If there is no space, also outside, inside, I cannot survive. The space is part of me. And then I have awareness, consciousness. Now consciousness, we don't know what it is. Nobody actually have seen it. But it is there, the consciousness. And that's what we are. So I need this as much as he needs this, she needs this. We are always connected with these 5 elements. And consciousness, we don't know exactly how it is or where it is. There's nothing there that you can see. There's not there you can pick up and show, separate. It's just an awareness. So therefore, the way I am, my body is, and the way that tree is, the way that grass is, the way this flower is similar, it's same, it's interconnected. So therefore, I think I am so special. I'm RINGU TULKU, I am just me. My self ends with my skin. I think myself ends with my skin, and after that is others. I think like that. But if you look a little bit deeply, I don't end at my skin. I'm connected so much with everything. In fact, it's so difficult to say actually where I end and the others begin. It's only my consciousness. I'm saying, I make a kind of assumption that I am. And even that consciousness I am, there's nothing there, totally separate, somewhere, anywhere. That consciousness is neither earth element, nor water, nor fire, wind, or space. So therefore, what I am is just interdependent entity, changing all the time, momentarily changing. There's nothing solid, there's nothing one thing, there's nothing independent. But we always think that I am separate from everything else. But there is nothing separated from anything else. And because I think I'm separate from everything else, therefore I react with everything, that this is nice, I want. This is not nice, I don't want. Aversion, attachment, everything is coming from there. And also, I'm alive, I'm happy, I'm unhappy, I'm dying. Even death is a concept, because actually all the things that is there continues. Not in that particular way, but continues. So therefore, if I see this a little bit deeply, then, and sometimes people might say, but I suffer when something touches me. I feel, and when I have a pain, I feel pain. Therefore, I am. But that's the way we grasp. With our mind, we kind of say, this is me, this is me, this is. Then or this is mine, then something happens to that, we feel pain or pleasure. Like when we actually look at my body, I don't say me, I say my body, my hand, my head, my leg, not me. And if something happens to my hand, I feel painful. But if something happens to my iPhone, also I feel painful. Yeah? Maybe sometimes more. My iPhone. That's the way the mind works. When I say mine, then I take it as part of me. And that's why, if this iPhone is bought by Wamu, then it can be crashed. That very moment, I cease to feel any pain. But unless it's somebody else, as long as it's mine, then even a little scratch on it, that's how our mind works. That's called, clinging, self-clinging, self-dangzin, holding on to the ego. And this is happened because of my kind of mistaken way of saying, who am I? Which is what we call the ignorance. I don't know that I am an interdependent entity. I don't know that there is nothing called I existing on its own. I think there is an I existing on its own. And because of that wrong perception, then all the samsara for me evolves. All this 12 link happens because of that. Because of this ignorance, that's the ignorance. What we call the basic ignorance in Buddhism is that I don't know what I am. I assume something separate, something solid, something independent called me. And because of that, then all the, the karma, because of that, the consciousness entering into our, me kind of, because of that, my six senses, and all this 12 link dependent origination occurs, and they occurs again and again and again, and that creates the whole samsara, and sometimes more positive. Then I have the experience of more positive realms, and a little nice thing, and then sometimes more negative emotions stronger. Then I have lower realms, hell realms, hunger gods realms, and things like that. And as long as I have that ignorance, I circle in this traveling dependent origination. That's why, to understand this, basically to understand who I am, what we call ignorance. If we can understand that, then the whole cycle breaks. And that makes the enlightenment, that makes the wisdom. That's what wisdom is about. Of course, we come to that explanation when we go to the next chapter, the chapter of wisdom. I think that's enough, because if we go deeply, then there are too many things, and it becomes complicated, and it will confuse me. I'm already confused, and then it will make you confused more. Then, if you have too much jealousy or envy, then we need to meditate on the equality of myself and others. It says, equality. We a little bit talked about this when we talked about the compassion also, kindness also. But, reflect. Meditation here on these kind of things is also to really think and reflect. As I am, so everybody is, As I said before, I want to be happy, I want to be well, I want to be, loved, I want to be respected, I want people to be kind to me. All these things everybody wants. I don't want to suffer, I don't want to have problems, pain and difficulties, so is everybody else. Whether they are supposed to be my dear and near ones, whether they are supposed to be my enemies, whether they are somebody else, whether they have different colors, different, kind, like, not human beings, but animals or, any other beings, they are similar, same. So if you understand that, if we understand this and deeply, and also those who are much higher and better and more fortunate than ourselves, also same. And those who are much worse than us are also same, similar. So therefore, we need to wish them well. We need to try to help them as much as I want to help myself, and I want to help my dear and dear ones. I need to wish same kind of thing to everybody else. And when that state of mind, that becomes my way of reacting, then I become kind, I become more compassionate. And there's nothing that I have to be envious, I have to be, I don't need to look up and become envious, I don't need to look down and have become, proud. There's nothing like that. We are all in the same boat, same kind. We need to all free our sufferings, free from our sufferings. And we need to do that. And I must try to find a way to do that. And that becomes, that brings bodhicitta. And that will then lead to the meditation of, exchanging my own positive things with the negative things of others, this tongnen and things like that. That's working on my pride. So if I feel that I have something good, I am better, and I look other people much worse, then, or if I see other people suffering and I am not that suffering, then, I need to give them, learn to give them what I have, learn to help them to relieve from their problems and sufferings and pain. That's why we can exercise, we can try to meditate on exercising this giving and taking. This is also a meditation that I feel that I am breathing in, or I am taking on all the pain and problem and negative karma and problems of all the sentient beings, that they have become fully free of them. They become all free of all suffering, pain, problem, difficulties. And then I don't need to focus on having those or feeling those pain myself. I need to feel all of them become free of those. And then when I breathe out, not at every breathing, but when I breathe out and I feel that I give them my joy, my happiness, my positive karma, everything. And so they become totally, every one of every people, every beings throughout the space becomes happy, joyful, healed completely, and liberated. This is a good meditation, because this is a meditation of compassion, but this is a meditation also directly working on my ego. Because what I don't want is negative things, suffering, pain, problem. And what I want is positive things, happiness, joy, and positive things. But generally, we want that too much. I don't want suffering, I don't want bad things, I don't want negative things, and the more you don't want, actually the more you suffer. Because, I might get it, something, I might get that, I might get that. I don't want problem, I don't want problem. Doesn't make me free from problem, actually it makes me more. Because even a little bit, but more I want happiness, happiness doesn't make me happy, it makes me more unhappy because yeah? So if you really want to be happy and become free from suffering, you need to learn not to want it so much, Like if I have this, even if I get some problems, it's okay. Even if I don't have all the happiness, it's okay. Then I'm happy. Yeah? That's when I'm happy. My happiness comes not from wanting too much. My happiness comes from whatever happens, it's okay for me. that brings what can you say, stability of mind. That brings certain kind of, that brings peace of my mind. That brings mind settlement, and not too much aversion and attachment. And that brings happiness. So this exercise, when I'm able to take others' problems and sufferings and negative karma, at least in my mind, and I'm able to give everything that's good to others, that means I'm exercising on this. I'm exercising that even if I get all the bad things, I'm okay. And even I give everything good, I feel okay. And when that becomes my state of mind, I'm okay all the time. Yeah? Then nothing can disturb me, I'm okay. So it's a way of making myself happy. And that's when my mind can become stable. When my mind can be not disturbed by the worry of getting something not good, and not disturbed by losing something good, then my mind becomes undistracted. Because I'm neither worried nor afraid. And that attitude can then make me fully relaxed and unwavering. And that brings that's the meditation. What we call the, settled in a positive way, one-pointedly. And because unless we understand this, unless we know a little bit about this, how our mind works and how we should, then if we try to meditate, the meditation wouldn't happen, because we are trying too much. I want to be happy, I want to be peaceful, I want to be peaceful. Is it peaceful, not peaceful? No, it's not peaceful. Another thought coming. Another thought. Then the meditation doesn't happen. But if we understand this a little bit, then it doesn't have to be like that. It's okay, it doesn't matter whatever. And then you learn how to meditate, and then meditation becomes naturally. It doesn't become a struggle. Because you just be natural. You just be natural with that understanding. Then you are actually in meditation, even if you are not trying to meditate. And then you can relax in that, then all other, you become peaceful naturally, you become joyful naturally. But even if you are not peaceful, it's no problem, because you don't mind. Even if it is not joyful, it doesn't mind. And then you are peaceful, because you don't mind some problems. Yeah? That's important. I think that's, we are about to finish this text because I jumped. Yeah. In that case, maybe I'll say this also. So there is one, for all these things we discussed were kind of working on specific problems or specific, negative emotions and things like that. And now if your mind is just naturally, too much not necessarily with these negative emotions, but just generally, too much distracted, then you can work on your breathing. And there are different ways to do that, but one is, a very simple way is to just, relax and sit still, straight, and mouth not completely closed, so that if you need be, you can breathe from your mouth also. And then you breathe out slowly, and then a little bit relax, and then you breathe in slowly, and then you count 1. Again you breathe out slowly, relax, you breathe in slowly and count 2. And this way you count up to 21. And if you are able to count up to 21, you go to meditation. Not exactly. But this is helpful because you are not too much, you're not doing too many mental exercise, but you are also focusing. You're focusing on breathing out, and then breathing in, and then aware of your count, 1, 2, so 21. This brings you a little bit focused, your mind focused and aware. It is quite easy. Easy means easy to understand. Meditation, and therefore it's a very good meditation because you cannot cheat here. Either you count or you lost the count. As soon as you lost the count, you have to start from the beginning. So, you can't say that I am great meditator because you could not count after 21. So, and there are a few different kind of breathing exercises, but I think this is very simple, and this is very, very useful to me. And you can do up to 21, and then relax a little bit, and again start again 21, and then relax a little bit. You can do many times also, sometimes, or just 1, or just 2. And this is also good if you have other practices. If you have other practices, that meditations, anything else you have, you do this once, and then do the other practice. And at the end you do one of these. That's also very good. Yeah? I think I'll stop here. And you have any questions? Yes?
You spoke about relaxing while having negative thoughts. How is it possible to relax totally while the negative thought is I usually find that I'm overwhelmed by the negative thoughts, and then when I relax, the thought goes away, but then it comes back.
Say like you have a negative thought like, say like for example?
Like for instance, some fear or worry. While the worry is there, there is no relaxation.
Now it's like this, you are worried about something. But you know that worrying doesn't help. Yeah? I think it's important to know that. Yeah? Worrying doesn't help, but you worry. So then, when you know that worrying doesn't help, but you feel you are worrying, then you breathe out, and then relax and breathe in. Relax and breathe out. And relax in this way. Yeah? So when you are relaxing in this way and breathing in and breathing out, you are focusing your mind a little bit there. You are not worrying. Yeah? You let your worry go. While you are doing this, you find that your worry is not bothering you. Yeah? So then you find out that actually you can let go of worry. You keep on worrying and you cannot let go of worrying because you are holding on to that. You are focusing too much on that problem. And because it's no use too much focusing on that what you are worried about may happen, may not happen also. Yeah? If it doesn't happen, there's no need to worry. If it happens, you have to face it anyway. Yeah? So when you have to face it anyway, there's nothing you can do, you just have to face it. So it's easier to face it than worry now. So if you start to worry now, then you are having the problems from starting now. But if you face it then you face it only then. Yeah, one time. But you might be worried for 10 days or 100 days or many weeks, then you suffer that much. Yeah? Why suffer so much when you have to only that much, you have to face. Yeah? No use. So that's one way. Another is also, why you are worrying. What is it that you are worrying about? What exactly is the thing that you are worrying about? Sometimes you look at deeply and many times what you are worrying too much is also built up thing too much. There's not too much there to worry about. Building up to this could happen. If this happens, then that could happen. If that happens, then that could happen. If that happens, that could happen. Oh, it's a kind of, our mind can build up lots of things, And sometimes in small thing also we can make it big, you know. And then we can become very, very agitated and very, very anxious. And then we can have an anxiety attack, which can be much more problematic than that problem sometimes. Yeah. So therefore, it's really important to let go and make a habit, train, because when you have to deal with any problems, it is very important that you have to be in a clear mind, not completely emotional. And if to keep this clear mind, you need to be relaxed. Otherwise, you will make a mess. Yeah? That we always do. If we are too much afraid, we become panicky. When we are panicky, we never do it rightly. Yeah? So,
thinking about the giving and taking meditation,
yeah.
giving and taking.
Yeah.
So, to make it short, how to avoid making the inner suffering even bigger after taking in suffering that otherwise in, let's say, ordinary normal life, I wouldn't even imagine to bear. For example, if I meditate on taking sickness of someone who is very sick, maybe it would create anxiety in me, because I'm not taking. So, in one, because there are different instructions in Tonga, I have this kind of uncertainty how to do the technique with the mind. And in one of the traditions that I got some instructions in, the technique was actually that we are not in the moment in which we take in the negativity, it dissolves into light. So this was quite easy. But in some other source, I realized that to oppose the habit of protection of ego, you actually just take it in. So how does this? So do I create more suffering to myself, or by some kind of intervention with my mind, I kind of transform it so actually I'm just helping other persons without harming myself, something
actually, it's just a thought, no? You cannot take anything. Yeah? You cannot take. If you can take, then take all the nice things. Yeah? You take all the good things of everybody. Can you take it?
Actually, I found, for example, at least something that I derived from, like Joga Trumpa, for example, that in some levels you actually begin to take, really take.
Yeah, but
for my example, I think you look in Rinpoche.
no, what?
That here really take.
Yes, but this is like this. This is a meditative exercise, yeah? So you are feeling you are taking in, but you actually don't get anything bad, yeah? It's just imagination, no? But if you are afraid of if you are afraid, that's why they make this. Some people are afraid to take in, yeah, even in the mind to take in. That's why they make this kind of different things, like there is something. Sometimes they visualize a yidam or a guru in your heart, and then when they take it, everything is dissolved, and then give back all the positive things. This is because we are too much afraid. Yeah? But actually there is nothing to be afraid, because there is nothing here to take it. Yeah? You don't. If your mind is clear, if your mind is compassionate, if your mind is pure, then the more you want to take on, the more you don't get any positive, negative. Yeah? Actually, wanting to take on negative thing is actually the best protection for yourself. But the visualization is like this. The visualization is like this. You take on, you feel that all negative people, all the suffering, pain and problems, not just one illness, okay? All negative things, negative karma, negative illness, suffering, pain of not just one person, but all the beings, yeah, is taken on. And taken on means not taken on. It's your focus is not you receiving it. Your focus is on all of them have become free of that. Yeah? That's very important. That's very important, because if you, lots of people take in and then I have pain here, pain here. Yeah. I don't have to feel that. Yeah? I don't have to. I have this headache because she has the headache, and I have this, shoulder pain because he has that, and I have the, knee pain because he has that. And I don't have to feel that. I just, they are all become free of that. Okay? And then I give out all the positive things like a shining light, yeah? And this coming is like darkness. What you bring in is like darkness. What you give out is like light. Yeah, like sun ray. Now this is important. Now, does the light meet darkness? Does the light fight with darkness? No, because when there is light, there is no darkness. Darkness and light cannot come together. Will never meet. Because as soon as there is light, darkness doesn't exist. Yeah? So therefore, when there is a light coming out, there is no light, no darkness. So darkness disappears. There is not disappears. Darkness doesn't exist. Yeah? You can feel that. Light, radiant of like sunlight come from your, in form of joy, happiness, good karma, things like that, and then goes to all the sentient beings. The darkness doesn't exist. Feel that, okay? Then there is no problem, because when there is light, we say that light dispels darkness, but actually light doesn't have to dispel darkness, because as soon as there is a light, darkness doesn't exist. Yeah? Think like that. And also this is, this is one of the importance of the practice is to dare to bring in, yeah? Unafraidly bring in, because our mind is too afraid all the time that I might get this negative thing, I might get this pain, I might get this sickness. That's what you have to train, that fear. If there is fear, how do you face it? The way to face your fear is, way to get rid of fear is to face it. When you're afraid, you still face it, then slowly, less fear. Yeah? Like for instance, some people have fear of facing people, like talking to lots of people. Yeah? It's same to talk to one person and talk to 10 people or 100 people. Anyway, you just have to say same thing. Yeah. But some people, if there is more than 10 people, then yeah, it's just a habit. Yeah. So, how do you overcome that? First, you talk to one person, then maybe 3 people, then maybe 5 people, then maybe 10 people, then maybe 20 people say the same thing. Yeah. So again and again. Today, talk to same, something to. Next time, 10 to another group of people. Next time, another group of people. Then slowly, you don't mind talking to one person or 10 people or 20 people or 50 people or 100 people. Yeah? You get used to it. And then you have no problem talking to many people. In the same way, first you feel fear because you take on. Then slowly you have less and less fear, and then if you can do that, then you have less fear. And that's the important thing. Yeah, that's the practice. Yeah. Of course, if you are too much afraid, you can also use those other means, but this is okay. This is also good. You can use that, and step by step, less and less, that's also possible. Okay, thank you. Sunam de tamje jebane tone nyebe ba shega nanje wa do sube sole do wa do